Now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi Jane, can you hear me?
Hi there, Amy. Yeah, loud and clear. Thank you. We're a bit of a larger group now. There's what we've got: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of us, and one still to come. But that was Karen, who was with me earlier on. But she's
Right.
familiar with part of the system, so she might pop in to ask a question in a little while, if that's all right.
Yeah, no, fine. So can you hi to everyone that's joined, by the way. Can you all see my screen with the City and Guilds logo on the Learning Assistant?
Yeah.
Yeah, fab. So I'm going to log in as an assessor now. We've used the 301, as I call it, your teaching and learning course, and I've set up an assessor and a learner for it. So I'm just going to log in now. So this is what you will see as you go in, and when you're all set up on the system, you will have your username and password sent to you with the hyperlink. My recommendation would be that when you get the URL emailed to you, then please just save it as your favorites or something, because you can't Google it, just for security. Now when you press log in, it will ask you oh, what have I spelt wrong? Unless I've put double S. It will ask you to update your password. Now, it's not fussy. You can set it to whatever you like. There's no minimum requirements. So once you've reset it, you will come to, but I'm going to press. This is what you will see in it to your processes. The first thing I'm going to start with is what we call the avatar, which is up in this little...
Oh, I've done... Amy, sorry, I've done something. I was trying to close down a bit at the side because it was all over our screen, and now I've gone back to... No, sorry, I've got all... No, it's not that.
We click on the link for the webinar. Right, come back into it.
Well, what down? I'm sorry.
If you go up under where it says that there's something in blue, I couldn't read what it was.
Do you want to come and have? Do you want to come and get to me? Sorry, Amy. I was trying to be clever and I've just messed it all up.
No, not a problem.
We're on the page, Amy, where there's a green. It says connected to Go webinar.
Yeah.
And let's get started. But then there's obviously nothing else from you. There's no further display.
Let me stop sharing and then reshare.
Right, I'm sorry.
Might be better to send it through and go again, maybe. The fact that we can hear you.
I don't know. I'm just trying to...
It says that you're not attentive, so you might need to click on the link again and just restart the...
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Make you a presenter or a panelist, and I don't know what a panelist is on this system. It might be worth just Xing the webinar and then clicking on it again.
Yeah, hang on. I'm just going, and I've gone to the...
The session's already running.
Session's already running. So click close to return to the session in progress. Oh, for goodness sake. This was going so well earlier on and now I've gone and messed it up.
No, you're fine. If I can do anything this
So
slide.
connected to webinar. Get started. There's nothing there to click, is there? Right, I'm going to close it down completely, Amy. I'm going to disappear for a second.
Yeah, that's fine. If you have any problems, you've got my number, haven't you?
Yeah.
Okay, great. No worries.
Right, okay, so I'm going to do that again. Sorry, guys, this is... No, it says it's still running. Can you still hear me, Amy?
Yeah, still got you.
Oh, so you're... I've got you hidden somewhere then, haven't I?
Yeah. If you hold down Alt and Tab on your keyboard, can you see anything on there appear? So click
Alt and Tab.
and it should bring up everything you've got open.
Oh.
And then just if you keep pressing Tab, it will move to anything else you have.
What, this one? Oh, actually. I think that's it. Yeah, I think, hang on, I think we might have found you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I'm just going to maximise you rather than minimise you this time, which is what I was trying to do to start with. Right, lovely. We're back. We can see you.
Great.
Lovely.
No worries. So we're only at the beginning anyway, so that's fine. So what I'm going to start with is the avatar up in the top left, which is that little person in the cog. Now, what you'll need to do when you first log on is just click on there and make sure that in your notifications is your email address. Now, because we'll put your email address in when we start you up, should already be in there, but then you need to select your preferences. Now, your message digest is when you get a learner or something sending you a message or they upload evidence, it's how often do you want to see them alerts. So every time they upload work or send you a message is there, or daily if you want to receive like a daily digest. So you need to just choose how many notifications you want to come through from the system. Once you've done that, just press Save Email Settings, and that is done. The other things you've got on your avatar is your preferences, so like how you want to see it, so like bold, you know, if you need a different background colour or, you know, just to make it a little bit easier to see. Your avatar, you can change and obviously put a picture in there of yourself. I'd get probably your learners to do that so that you can see them all. And then over here is just something for you to be aware of. This is where you will see news and events show. So earlier on today, we set up an event just for a test on Christmas Eve, volunteer day. So if you click on that, it will open up the details of what that event will sit on your homepage until that has passed. Okay, the other things on your home screen are your assessor tasks, which we'll come to, your messages, which this is any up and coming appointments you've got with learners when you've booked them in. Resources. Now, you've got YouTube resources here, which is YouTube videos on how to use the Learning Assistant system. And this can be how to upload work. You've got the Learning Assistant videos, and 3, you've also got our support team in Glasgow. So you've got loads of ways to access that help. In your resources tab here as well may sit some generic resources uploaded by Jane, for example. It may be things like your assessor guidance, safeguarding and prevent documents, anything that's generic that you may need to access across the board may sit in this resources. The other option you've got is this LA Anywhere. Now this is let's you've then also mentioned it to different places and not have any Wi-Fi. Now, if you download this and you're doing an assessment or uploading some work, you can do that as if it was the normal system. And then as soon as you connect back to Wi-Fi, it will automatically load it up to your live online version. So you don't have to duplicate any of your work. It just syncs it, okay. To-do list that you've got. You've got awaiting evidence review and awaiting review. Now these are slightly different. So awaiting evidence review is a piece of evidence that a learner has submitted to you for you to have a look at, give some feedback, and just see, you know, how they're getting on. Your awaiting review is when that learner has said that they are submitting that entire unit to be closed. So they may, in here, we were talking about the 302, the micro teach at one point earlier, they might put in their plan for their micro teach. and ask you to review it in here. Once they've done it, they've done their teach, they've uploaded their plan, their feedback, their evidence, their everything like that, they then believe that 302 is completely finished, signed off, happy to submit it for a competency claim. That's when all of that unit will sit in awaiting review. So they're the two differences. You've then got verifier referrals, so anything that your IQA has then submitted to you to refer that you need to action will sit in here. And then overdue work at the bottom is when you've set a deadline for that learner and they haven't submitted the work, it will sit in here so you know to chase them. Have you got any questions on your homepage at the minute?
Anybody? No.
Nope.
No, I think we're good to go on. Thank you, Amy.
Great. So I will go down all these little side bits first, and then I'll come back to the learners. And what I'll do is I'll set a plan. I will then log in as my learner, and then I'll submit some work and come back in as the assessor. I hope it's not too confusing sort of logging out into the learner system, but hopefully it will give you sort of that work through. When you get your assessor login, you have the option to create or you can ask to create a test learner. Now, if you create a test learner, you can obviously log in and upload some work and have a play by yourselves, but obviously they've still got them YouTube videos. So news and events is just a bigger version of what we looked at on the news and events homepage if you wanted to go directly to it. Your appointments is if you were to set up appointments individually within the calendar. Now, this doesn't automatically sync to like Outlook because they don't give us what's called an API bridge, but you can click export here and that will sync to your Outlook. So you might decide you're going to do that every Friday, ready for the next week or something. So you could create an appointment in here with your learners, and then so that then it appears on their home screen as well. And then if you've got your own calendars that you keep up to date internally, you can export it to that as well, so that you don't have to keep putting in 2 diary invites at the same time, because we know that they don't necessarily have 3.
Can I just ask a quick question on that exporting?
Yeah. Because
we don't use Outlook, as in Outlook that's linked to the normal Outlook, we use Outlook web app. Can we sync it to that, do you know?
I've never heard of web app. Let me make a note of it just now, and I will ask the question and I'll email it back.
Web app?
Sorry?
Yeah, I'm just making sure I've said the right thing to you, but yeah.
Outlook
web app.
Web app. Is it Outlook web app or just web app?
Outlook web app. So it's not the one that's built into your computer, it's the one that you have to access via the internet.
Okay, let me just make a note. Does it sync with Outlook web app? Okay, I'll find out and then I'll get back to you.
Okay, lovely.
So yeah, but that as long as that's an option, then the option's there to export. Okay, so I'll ask the product team once I get off the webinar with you, and I'll find out and email you.
Okay, lovely. Okay.
Now, forums I demonstrated this morning, and it sounds like it's going to be quite a good tool. Now, you can set these up in different ways. There'll always be the first one that's set up for you, which is the level 3 award in training, and then you can click in there and start your own thread. Obviously, you can create more of these. You can, like, super users can create different subjects. So, how are you getting on in your micro teach prep? And then submit, and then from there, people on the program can reply or put in their own for you. PDR. Now, this you have for yourselves and your learners. I've asked for this to be so that your ones can be viewed by your IQAs, so that at the end of every month you're not having to sort of export and send and whatnot. So hopefully that's come in, and then you can approve for them to view it. Now, this is probably really, really useful for the education and training, because obviously as assessors we have to keep up to date with our CPD. Now this is a good way for them learners to be getting in the habit of filling that in. So they do it in exactly the same way that you do, but you can obviously search for their PDR. But they could do a new entry, and a lot of this is used for sort of your standardisation meetings, any actions going on, because you can have this open in the meeting, reflection notes, whatever it is, and then how long. So like, for example, today's learning assistant training, if you were doing it for 5 hours because then you were having a bit of a practice afterwards today, and then you can press submit. Once you press submit, it will refresh the page, and you can either return to PDR or scribalization, you might, or any other documentation that you gotta go in there.
Like a certificate of attendance if it's external training.
Yeah, all of that stuff can go in. And then when you return to PDR, it will give you like a rolling log of this. If, for example, the certificate of attendance you didn't get straight away, you can still fill it in, and then you can go into edit drives. So you've got, it might be that you've attended your functional skills because, you need to achieve that for your assessor one. So your functional skills training day might go in here, and then when you've achieved it, you might copy it in and put the certificate in here so that you've got another copy of it. Whatever it might be, it will just be a rolling log. But then obviously you can also view your learners' PDRs when they have started putting it in, which gets them assessors into the habit of filling it in on a continual basis.
So Amy, as a centre, can our administrator then access all of their assessor PDR logs? Because at the moment we have to.
Yeah, they can. So you can export it as an assessor to them, but that's what I've asked to come in the next development. I've asked for it to be accessible for IQAs and admin staff, so that doesn't happen. But I think so because I was an assessor in IQA before, I know them pain points. Whereas the people who were sort of in the role building LA haven't been an assessor, so they didn't realise that you would need access to it. So I'm getting all these little bits of practical development built in at the moment.
Okay, lovely.
Okay. Again, messages, same thing as earlier, but this is where you would create it, and you can create messages and send that to your learners or groups of people, whether it be other assessors or whether it be learners, etc. You can choose. But that is an internal conversation as to whether you use this or whether you use your own email system. Processes. Are you happy for me to skip past processing? I can always, if that's let us know. Submit an idea, report a problem, and log out. Now, just to let you know, customer support is the Glasgow girls. So they are working in the office. They know learning assistant like you wouldn't believe. 8 till 5 Monday to Friday except for Christmas, so they're there on hand all the time. When you ping over that email, they're continuously on it, and they'll either email you back or give you a call. Submit an idea is if there's any development that you want, for example, like you just mentioned, the having admin staff having access to the PDRs, you can submit that idea in here of what's your idea, what problem would it solve, and what the value is. And that goes, and she reviews that about every month and sees how quickly we can get that updated, whether it's just a minor change that we can update on a monthly basis, or if it's a big development that we can put into our 6-monthly roadmap. So they're always welcoming feedback and ideas to see if it can be embedded into the portfolio. Report a problem. So obviously if you've got a problem and you click on that, then it will flag straight to the support team, tell you what page you're on, tell them, what page you're on, what the problem is, and they'll fix the bug straight away for you. Obviously if it can be fixed straight away, if it's a bigger overall problem, then they'll let you know sort of the status of it. But they're sort of your tabs, and they're at the bottom of every single page you'll go to.
Okay.
Okay, is there any questions so far?
I have a quick question about the forums, Amy.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not going to go mad and have 100, but is there a maximum number?
Best of the space is just go for it.
Oh, don't encourage her anymore.
I'm not going to have too many. I've got to moderate them, so I'm not going to have too many. It's just, I just out of interest. That's all.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, moderation we can't do. But yeah, no, I feel some pain when it comes to forums. I don't like filling out my own. Right, so now the important bit. Your learn on the learners tab, you've got options to search through package. So if yours will be course. So depending on how many courses you deliver will depend on how many show down here. You can find courses that you assess, that you verify, or both. Now, if you are an assessor and a verifier, then you'll have the same access. So you could do I assess these learners, or you want them that you're an IQA for. Learner status will always be active, but if you are setting up these test learners, like these dummy learners, then just to find them, just change that learner status to test, and then it will show. If you leave it as active, then them test learners won't show up, just so that when it comes down to actually having live learners, that person doesn't show within your reporting. So I'm just going to search all learners because we've only uploaded the one today. So this is my learner here, the company they work for, the units they've got to achieve, their RAG rating, so red, amber, green, their progression bars, and then any comments or actions that they've done. So since you last logged in, that's if they've uploaded any evidence or made any contact with you. It would have like a little notification bubble. So just on this snapshot here, those 3 boxes, them units or however many you had, if they're grey, they're not started. If they're blue, it means the learner's been doing some work towards them. If it's green, it means that you as an assessor have completed and signed it off. If it's pink, that unit's been verified. And if it's orange, then it's been returned from the IQA. But all of that status is sitting up here at that right-hand side. But you'll start to sort of remember that as you're going along. So to click into this learner, click on their name, and then this is like we've got a paper portfolio and just put it into these pages. And at the top here, that you can sign per learner. You can quick access their PDR from there. And then you've got their overview of your learner. So completed what you've signed off, and expected is obviously how much they've got to do over that period of time, how far along should they be. So the reason we've split 2 of them apart is so that obviously if you're looking at 301 and you know it could be done as like a project, for example, it might be started by that learner, but you may not have signed it off yet as complete. So it's just so that if it's taken a while and it's saying it's expected 33%, and you've not signed it off as complete as an assessor, it doesn't dishearten the learners. Yeah.
Yeah. So with the completion tab, sorry, Amy, with the completions, Yeah,
the only thing that you into the learner's name again, it will take you to their learner journey. It annoys me how small it is. Now you can RAG rate your learner. So now it's green, but it does really annoy me how small that is. Because you click into the course number and deadlines for but you can also see a gap analysis. So if they've started and you've signed some bits off, your gap analysis will reduce the criteria down to. So if I click into 301.1, it will then what the learner is, contact them. You create an entry. And then where it says entry label there, you can change that to planning. And it will lock any outcomes that you want to plan so that the learner can then accept them. So outcomes, and don't forget I'm recording this, so I don't expect you to get it straight away. But I'm going to plan for them to do all of Unit 301. So description.
Your task coming because I
have to.
I have got a question. Sorry. I'm sure it'll come up with everyone. It's only because I'm the one delivering this.
Sorry, you've gone really quiet. Sorry, say that again.
It's the when you go back to your progress and your gaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the 301 task A, because I've literally got a pile on my desk now to assess in paper format. Quite often within their writing, there's a little bit of sort of cross-referencing required and things.
Yeah.
So I wonder how that then is run, because obviously in person we can just be jotting things down in the margin and then cross-referencing on our criteria sheets, but on this system,
you've jumped so far ahead of me.
Sorry.
No, don't be.
We'll park that, shall we?
Yeah, park it, because you can cross-reference. You can cross-reference in a couple of different ways.
All right, let's go back then. I'll stop.
Okay, so with this, it's just planning. So obviously, when I did my one, they would say to me, right, your first deadline is to do 301 these questions. Yeah, I know that it would cross over into some of the others, but predominantly they wanted me to finish Unit 301 as my first port of call, my first sort of target. So in here, my planning would be, please complete Unit 301, any like guidance by doing whatever it is. You can do that meeting date, so by, let's go next week, Christmas Day, and then you can require the learner.
Oh, you're harsh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I was hospitality, so there's no such thing as a day off. So require the learner signature. So that is requiring the learner to acknowledge that they agree with that plan.
Okay.
You press save. Again, it will refresh. You can obviously create an official appointment, but it will refresh again. And then at the bottom, again, you can attach any documents you would like. So I'm going to close that now. And so it says here in their learner journey that on this date, 18th of December.
Yeah.
Now, don't get too confused. I'm going to log in as the learner quickly. Learner view is very straightforward again. So there's that plat at 12:06 on the 18th of December, and I acknowledge that that's what I've now got to do. So I'm going to do all my work, upload some bits, and then I'm going to go into evidence and I'm going to upload my evidence. They go evidence wizard with some evidence. It would probably make more sense for them to do this as a bit of practice, but like I say, the only thing they need to fill out is their details. This might be title evidence for Unit 301. This would be the project, for example. And then type, so it might be questioning, and then cross-reference. So this is by no means at all the be-all and end-all of cross-referencing. So they might say, I think it definitely hits all of 301.1, and they can toggle all. Oh, didn't like that, did it? Toggle all. It's bigger, but obviously mine's having a bit of a moment. And so you can select all as you're going along. So I think it's done all of Unit 301, but I actually think it's done probably this and sorry, home internet and a demo site is never a good combination. So then this will pop up for the learners. Now this is probably something that you might want to, Jane, I was saying about you could personalise your home screen text. You might want to put in there sort of, what you expect them to do. So if they submit that for a review, it will sit in that top box for you to have a look, but they're not necessarily saying that, you know, that's my competency claim.
Okay, through.
Let me just click on 301. Click that. You know, you've maybe given them some feedback and gone, the learner will come in and say, right, there's my evidence that I've uploaded. It's got these black ticks because I have said I think it achieves this piece of assessment criteria. So I now want my assessor to sign off and submit the competency claim for 301.1. So then I would press that there, and then that, because it's you know, they're saying that they believe their assessment is up to standard. I've done.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know it's a lot to take in. Once you've pressed the buttons, it will be a lot easier, I'm sure.
Yeah, just need to get in and start playing with it all, don't we? And
yeah,
finding around.
Like I'm on hand for the rest of the day. Oh look, and within that time you've got this blue box. So every now and then we'll let you know some bits of an update. So this is us saying that we're actually going to have some time off up in the Glasgow office, which, you know, normally they sleep in bed. So it's not there because obviously you don't need to know that anymore. This piece of evidence has been there waiting for review. So now if that learner continuously submits piece after piece after piece, that won't be a big list. It will just tally up there how many pieces of evidence they've uploaded. So if they continuously do that, you're not going to have like loads and loads. It will just tell you how many documents they've uploaded. Yeah. And then your final competency claim there. So by clicking on that, it will take you through to 301.1. You can see that that learner is. Now, what you were saying about your margins and things, if that learner and so when I did my EQA qual not so long ago, it's obviously similar to this. I would do all my questioning and my planning and stuff on a Word document. And then, you know, on a Word document where you can review or add comments in the margin.
Yep.
So my assessor would put in her comments in the margin there, and then give me feedback and reattach it. So she'd open it up, a piece of evidence like this. Hoping this was a Word document. I think it was from back in my assessing days. Yeah, so this was when I left assessing. I was so lovely and gave them a how-to guide. So what I would do is do comments as I'm going along and fill in, and this is what my assessor did. You know, rubbish work, Amy, try again. Save that. I thought I could fly through it. Turns out I didn't. It took me about. I was like, I'll do it in a month, and then I think
I did as well.
I was so annoyed. I was like, I can do it. Just sign me off. I don't even want to be an EQA.
I know that feeling as well.
So from there, you might look at it and go. Generally, if you review the evidence that have got feedback and you're hoping that them submitting their competency claim, you're probably going to accept it. But if I just put a bit of context as to why we've got the review and this accept, is because I requested that to be on the home screen, because when I was doing my EQA qual, I would put in some evidence, and the only option they had to alert me was to return the work and say it's not good enough, you need to add this to it. And for learners that don't necessarily understand, that can be quite disheartening, you know, or it's constantly being returned. So that's where that review button came in. You know, you could say, oh, you're not, you know, you need to add some more. Now, you would then either accept that unit as a whole by clicking on accept, but you may think, actually, okay, you've done that, but I don't think you've achieved 1.2. So you click that through until the black tick disappears. But you'll go, I think you've achieved 1.1. So that will change to a green tick. 1.3, you might go, what on earth are you on about? You need to explain yourself. And yeah, you've probably achieved 1.4. So you can do that right down into sort of the outcome level. So that's that one, and I'm going to save. But then going into 301.2, ignore this bit, and you'll say, right, you've done 2.1 and 2.2 actually, and I think you've covered all of it. So I'm going to accept that unit. Oh, save it first. I want to get rid of that save button. It drives me mad.
Page, but it's stuck again. I'm really stuck. Oh, yeah, no, there we go. We're moving.
Yeah. Just go through feedback. And then once you've saved it, goes a feedback in a walk on it and view what her feedback comments were in the margin. And then she'd say, okay, add to this in maybe blue text rather than black, and then just, so it's a continuous document.
Okay, yeah. In the feedback box there, could you so if you were going to maybe
copy it and paste it in, and then they can play. Yeah. So looking at that now, they've started 58% because obviously I went trigger happy with the what I've tagged to that piece of work too. But you have signed off and completed as the assessor 5%.
Okay.
Yeah. So a bit of assessing, that's all been sent back, all done. If you click onto that waiting a review, started that work but hasn't necessarily the whole way down. And then once done, and that will go to completed 100%. It will automatically, because it's not standard, change the grade to pass. It will set the grade as pass because obviously you don't have merit distinction, etc. in there. Yeah.
Yes, indeedy.
So you're happy with that process? I know once you've kind of got your own login and active and your test learner, you'll be able to sort of run through that step by step as you're going along.
I've got a sea of faces looking at me that I think we will be all right once we start using it. I think there's quite a lot to take in on a theoretical basis. It's fair assessment. I'm sorry, we've got a whole office of germ-infested people. Sorry about everyone coughing.
No, that's fine. I rang my boss this morning. I was like, I'm not coming into the office today. I was like, I'm working from home. I was like, no chance. He's like, oh, you coming?
I wish we could have all done that. So we have got one further question. Sorry, Faye, go on.
Sorry, just a quick one. Where it goes to pass, grade goes to pass, so the learner thinks they've achieved it. Obviously, it hasn't necessarily been internally verified.
Yeah.
So is there then, do you know what I mean? Is there something that we need to make very clear to them that the pass is subject to verification internally and externally, or does that?
And when they come on board, you have to tell them the process of, you get assessed and then you've got your IQA and your appeals and That should all be involved in there. But I had this sort of conversation with some others a while ago, and it was the learners don't see when their verification points on here. And I think the general consensus when we did a bit of feedback was, okay, if you've got if you're doing this unit 301 or your education and training, it may be useful for them to understand when it's been IQA'd because they will need to understand the process. But generally, it puts some added pressure on. This was the kind of the feedback we got. Added pressure on learners if they think, oh, well, you've said I've passed, but I'm still waiting on someone else to tell me it, and potentially someone else. So there's nothing really for the learners to see. But from there, obviously, I'll go on to the IQA steps in a moment. But the IQA is very, very simple. Actually, the same steps as the assessor. But then you will see when that
verification, however.
So I used to just sign, when I first had my learners or stuff, and then when I did my reviews, I'd say to them, right, well done, you've passed this. It'll go off to the IQA now. But as far as I'm concerned, your work's of good standard. And then if there was any issues with the IQA, I'd come back to the learner and say, all right, someone, the IQA has turned around and said that they'd just like you to add a bit more to this. Let's see what we can do and make it sort of like a conversation rather than it being sort of like just words on their portfolio.
You should go through with the questioning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So are you happy with that? And you're okay to just sort of, when you've got your learners kind of, your dummy learners, to just press the buttons and see how you get on and then contact me as you go in?
Yes, I think so. So I think it'd be a good idea once I've set you all up as learners, and then that you've got your login, you create yourself a test learner and you just start playing until you're then going forward. Right, so are we going to go on to the IQA stuff now?
Yeah, this is just me logging in as an IQA.
So for those of you that are assessors...
Can I just ask a quick question while some of the people who aren't present or don't necessarily with how the learners, when they've seen it without then accepting it, does that make sense?
Yeah, so you can see when they've logged in as well, which will tell you obviously if it's been since then.
Do you want to just say, we'll just get a bit, I'll come back to you in a minute.
Yeah, sorry, we're just having a little bit of a change round because only 3 of us are IQAs out of the 7 of us that are here. So some are just trundling back off home because I've made them come in on their holiday days. All right, thank you, everybody. Have lovely Christmas. All right, see you soon. Thank you, Faith. Right, are you all right at the table there?
Yeah, I'm literally just putting an email message in and I'll just wait for it for guys.
All right. Okay, all right then, Amy. Yeah, we're ready.
All right, fab. So, verifier is, I think now you've seen that, you'll see that it's very nice and straightforward, which is lovely. Homepage, exactly the same. You've got your news and events, you've got your LA Anywhere, your resources, etc. Down the side is pretty much the same, except we'll come to obviously your sampling summary. But the rest of the system, we like to keep it looking the same, so that if you are assessing and verifying and showing learners, you don't get thrown with loads of different views.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm guessing all 3 of you have just been in the assessor one. You haven't like come in separate, so you've seen that, yeah?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Emma, did
great.
you want to actually be on? Oh, if she's there.
Okay, so
yeah, because this is
Okay, so sampling summary is the first thing I'm going to click on. And then to set up your sample plans, in that top corner it says sample plans. So you click on there. Now I'm going to pre-warn you. People either love our sampling plans or hate them for the same reason. So they are very basic sample plans. Me and Simon, who's another does the same role as me, because we've both been IQAs. We're putting some more development into this that is hopefully coming out in January start of February time. But people either go, oh my god, my sampling plan is so complicated now, how can I possibly use something so basic? And on the other hand, people go, oh my god, I love it, it's basic, I now don't have to put all this extra stuff in. So it's all for the same reason. So you'll either go, oh yes, let's get using it straight away, or you'll say, let's wait for the development in January. So just
we like simple.
But obviously it's City and Guild, so it's approved and it's fine to use. So sampling plans, we're going to create a sample plan. So we'll give it a name. So tutor plan might be 10% because obviously they're amazing and I've been assessing for years. It's the level 3 award. Company you don't have to put in, but you can. And I want it for that assessor. Obviously, if you had more, and on the same sample plan, you can put in more.
Yeah. So you put multiple assessors in there, can you?
Yeah, and company, you can go wild. So once you've put in all that details and press save, I know, who'd have thought wild about sampling plans. It will then show.
I know.
It's not how I get my kit. So
yeah.
the name of your sample plan will go there. So to edit it, you will click on that sample plan. Then every learner that fits that criteria will show in 301 overdue. For unit 302, I'd like to select for verification. I'd like it to be an observation, and I want that on Christmas Day, and save. So that is now planned. Verification as they add up and how many you have verified. So that's just your plans. So it looks like an Excel spreadsheet, but without your additional stuff that people put in. My main piece of development, and I've said, like, I know they're really busy with development at the moment. I said if there's one piece that I really want them to put in is, rather than planning to verify the whole unit, is for them to be able to drill down into the outcomes. So then you could plan 301.1 only, rather than the whole of 301. I've said as long as you get that in, it's a start.
Yeah.
Whether they listen to me, we'll see what January brings. So then on my homepage as an IQA, I now have this this plan. So these are all the tasks I've set myself. For this learner, it's in red because it's today, so it's overdue. And for this one, it's in white because it's not due yet, but it's coming. The little green tick down there is when the unit has definitely been completed by the assessor, and the blue one is that it's been started but the assessor hasn't yet signed it off.
Okay, yeah,
so you could obviously click into there, but because that's been completed, it's sitting in this awaiting verification bit. So either way would take you into there. You'll click on it. You'd see it's been same. Okay, right. I can see now that the assessor has only said 1.1 and 1.4. So I'll agree and make them pink ticks for verified. No problem. But they haven't agreed with the assessment, so I'm not going to do any more. I'm then going to go, because I've seen that 301, but it will automatically set as private because obviously it's between the IQA and the assessor, not the learner. Outcome 301.2 verified. Great job. Require the assessor acknowledgement if you want, and then press save. Again, you can attach a document if you need to. At the bottom of the course, it will be
end option with that.
And go down. Once you've done it, you press save, and then it will send that as pink and verified. And then on your homepage, it will have disappeared from your plan and from awaiting verification because you've done it.
Yeah, it's only because she's only loaded one, that's why. But
yeah.
Everybody will be up.
Yeah,
no, I understand that. Could you be able to choose, at the moment, we don't sample everybody.
No.
So.
Yes, absolutely. See, yeah. Okay, any more from any more? No, I think we need to just go and have a good old play, to be honest with you. I'm very, very excited.
Merry Christmas.
Lovely. Yeah, thank you for your time, Amy.
What you've always wanted.
Yes, absolutely. So you're going to send me an email with my login?
Yeah, I'm going to send you that. So what I'm doing currently is just downloading. Let's see how they're getting on. I'm downloading the webinar from this morning, and it takes a bit of time. But that's downloaded, and once this is downloaded, I'll send them in a YouTube link for you as well. Let me just see if I've got your URL to hand now, because I can show you that in a GIF once it opens.
We should look away from the screen at this moment.
Yeah, sorry, we shouldn't be looking at your email, should we?
That's all right. Nothing interesting on there. I normally find the button in the corner that says delete. I think your will just be system.learnassistant FSN. Oh, not with an S. There you go.
Hey, look at that.
So, can you see the chat box in the GoToWebinar?
No.
So in the little panel on the side, if you open up that, there's
Oh yeah, right, the flashing one, yeah.
yeah. So that's your URL that I've just sent you. system.learningassistant.com/FSN. And then if you just go log in as system.admin and use the password, just password, and then it will prompt you to change it. And that's your e-portfolio.
Right, so it's sorry, have you sent me that to my email, that link?
No, but I'll do that now.
Sorry, because as I say, I'm a bear with little brain today.
LA login. I'll just send you that as it is. System.admin, and then it's just password. So there's your login details, and then I'll send you obviously the downloads and whatnot.
You are a superstar. Thank you, Amy. Sorry, I've usually got a lot more brain processing power, but I'm thick with yuck.
No, you're absolutely fine. So yeah, I've sent that, and then once these videos download, hopefully by the end of today, I'll send them off to you. They'll be in like a YouTube link because obviously it's too big to send as an attachment, and then you can send them out and access them whenever you need.
Okay, that's perfect. Lovely stuff. Right.
All right. Well,
that's
anything else, I'm
that's all done then.
phone or email. Let me know if I can help.
Lovely. Thank you very much indeed. That's been really, really helpful this morning.
Yeah,
Thank you. And
Lovely.
happy Christmas if I don't speak to you.
All right, and to you, and go and give your little barky dog a stroke from us all as well.
You know what? It's typical. Just before we finish, she's now on her bed snoring her head off. I'm like, really?
That's because she knows that you're not going to be talking to other people and not her anymore. She can relax now, you see.
So yeah, brilliant. Well,
all right, awesome. Thank you, Amy. You take care, and yeah, I'll be in contact should I have a brainless moment.
no problem. Speak to you soon.
All right then. Thanks. Bye.